Better up.
Bob and Chris, they're on the air. Yankees, Mets, they're everywhere. From the Bronx to Queens, the diamond gleams. MLB talk, the ultimate team. MLB is the place to be. Bob and Chris with the pitch you'll see. Swinging stacks and stories fly. Baseball talk that's amplified.
And welcome to a new episode of NY MLB Talk with your host Rob and Chris as we cover the Mets, Yankees, and all of Major League Baseball. And if you want to follow us on Twitter/X or on TikTok, it's at NYMLB Talk. Follow Rob at R. You can follow myself at CP7NY. And Rob, we have a very special guest tonight. Why don't you bring him on? He's been a part of our show actually for a long time, but now he's actually on the show.
Yeah, we have Armand, who we love his comments during the show. They're great. I mean, he knows a lot about the Mets. He knows so much about baseball. It's great. We've been looking for this show for this show for a while. Armand, thanks for coming on. How's everything going?
Well, hello, Rob. Hello, Chris. Hello, everybody. Oh, it's fantastic, except this winter blast of cold that I hate and the snow. I wish it'd go away.
I know.
Yeah, we agree.
It's here for too long. I'm sick of everything being white, and now it's dirty white. So it's like, ugh.
I'm just gonna pitchers and catches report. Next week. I'm happy spring training is around the corner. The WBC's around the corner, but seeing Florida and Arizona, I'm just gonna be so jealous.
I know.
Listen, my sister was in Florida last weekend and it was freezing. So,
Oh, I know. I have family in Florida and they've been calling me. It's like, it's 25 degrees. I'm like, you want to come up here with snow and negative 20 degrees? Yeah.
Yeah, when it doesn't even melt. But listen, Sunday we got the Super Bowl. Once the Super Bowl's over, I don't want to hear anything else except that baseball is almost here. That's it. But all right, Armand, let's get to this. You're a big Met fan. We know that. We're going to have a lot of questions about this offseason. But first, why don't you fill us in? How did you become a Met fan? How long have you been a Met fan for?
So I've been a Met fan since 1995. When I was a baby, me and my parents lived in a 3-family house with my grandparents and my uncle who had muscular dystrophy. It was my mom's side of the family. He was a big Yankee fan. He would do the scorecards, and even some of my other uncles would take him to Yankee Stadium or other big sporting events back in the day. And actually, at that time when I was a baby, because of my uncle, I was a Yankee fan. And my favorite baseball player, Don Mattingly. Now, my uncle, because of muscular dystrophy, passed away in 1989. Because of his passing away and Don Mattingly still on the team, I stayed a Yankee fan. But when Mattingly when Mattingly retired and was off the team, I lost the connection to the Yankees. I didn't have a connection. So I felt, who's the team I'm going to cheer for? And I had a cousin that lived right like a block away from me who's a Met fan. So he got me into the Mets, and since 1995, I've been a Met fan.
Okay, so that's how you become a Met fan. But before we start with this stuff, give me a couple of your favorite all-time Met players.
Okay, all-time Met players. One, just Bartolo Colon. How could you not love him pitching? That's a big guy. The backhand flip against the Marlins, getting off the pitcher's mound. The home run in San Diego on a Saturday out of nowhere. Just probably the greatest home run I've ever seen in my life until a Met hits a walk-off in the World Series.
Yeah, that will be better. Yeah, and who doesn't? Even Chris loves him too, right? Chris, he was a Yankee, so who doesn't love him?
Yeah, no, he is, and the guy just kept going too. I mean, he pitched till how many years was he in the league? About almost 20 years, or about 20 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, about
he originally started with the Expos and then got traded to the Guardians or the Indians at the time.
Right.
Yeah, that's right. Danny Gallagher brought him up when we were talking about Expos.
He pitched 21 years, 247 wins. Not bad. Just above ERA over 4.12. Not bad.
No, not bad at all. But all right, so Chris, you want to get into this off season with Armand?
Yeah, Armand. All right. So, what are your thoughts? We're a couple of days away from pitchers and catchers coming into camp. What is your feelings about the Mets? You feeling really good? You feeling like you still need some players?
I'm feeling good. I'm hoping Clay Holmes and Nolan McLean get out of the WBC scot-free. I'm excited with Freddie Peralta leading the pitching. Right now, we got 6 starters. I don't see another big, whether it's Chris Bassett or Zach Gallen coming here. But very happy about the starting rotation. I do think the bullpen can use 1 or 2 more guys, maybe one guy to be in the bullpen and another deft arm like on a minor league deal that could just fill in with due to injuries or whatnot for the bullpen. But very happy with what David Stearns did. I hate last year's team. They just frustrated me to no end. Runners in scoring position was a big thing I hated. Like, can you not get a single? I mean, it was home run or nothing with this team. I did feel like the core needed to be broken up. I expected Pete to be gone, unless, like, I expected him to opt out and not come back to us. Like, I was never expecting him to be back. I just think there's too much bad blood throughout his history. From the time Billy Eppler was GM, he turned down a 7-year offer at the time, and then he fired his agent at the time and hired Scott Boras. So, to a lot of fans that don't like Scott Boras, that's not a good look for Pete, because now you're just telling us you don't want to be a Met for life. You just essentially want the money.
Yeah, you're right. So, but personally, let's take all that stuff out of it. How do you feel with Pete not being on the team this year? Are you all right with it? What are your feelings about that? Because you know how we feel. We've talked about it.
I expected it, and I'm okay with it. I kind of thought they were trying to move on from him last year. I thought Pete got somewhat of a reality check last offseason because nobody was going to sign him. It just showed you. And if you look at first base, there's very few first basemen in the league like Pete, Freddie Freeman. A lot of teams want to keep first base open for a lot of guys to rotate like they do now with the DH. There's very few everyday DHs. Kyle Schwarber, Ohtani, Stanton, like, just to name a few. I'm fine with it. My first choice to put at first base was actually Murakami. I just felt like take the chance on a 25-year-old with so much raw power that, okay, you don't know what you're going to get, but he's the closest guy that was in this free agent market that was younger, that had the raw power potential that could probably replace the 30-plus home runs we got from Pete last year.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with you, and I'm okay with it now. Baltimore, I think Baltimore is going to have a decent team. They've improved themselves now. Chris, I just want to ask Chris something. Now that the Yankees signed Goldschmidt, right, which you figured they were going to do, how do you feel about the American League East right now?
Oh yeah, I mean it's going to be probably the best division in baseball with those top 4 teams, and then you throw in Tampa, right? I mean Tampa's always Tampa. I think they're going to hang in there as long as they can, and they're going back to their dome, so they do play better when they're in the dome. But yeah, the division's going to be good. Listen, the Yankees, all this talk about running it back. Yeah, they're running back a team that was tied for the most wins in the American League, right? With 94 wins and had one of the best offenses in all of baseball, and that was without their ace. And now they're bringing back Garrett Cole. So the pitching is going to be fine. The bullpen is the part that I'm, a little worried about. I think the bullpen could use another arm or two. But other than that, I mean, this team is more or less set. And if they stay healthy, yeah, they're going to be up there. But like you said, Baltimore is going to be better. Boston's going to be better. and of course Toronto. Toronto's coming back. They're the American League champs. So
Yeah.
they're going to be just as good too. I think they're not making that big of a deal about losing Bichette, but I think they should, because that's a big bat in that lineup that they really haven't replaced, right? So,
Yeah. Hey, I agree. Now, Armand, when you heard that the Mets signed Bo Bichette, how did you feel?
I was at work and I got the notification from Will Salmon. The New York Mets and Bo Bichette agreed to a 3-year deal. I'm like, wait, what? And funny story, I was on another at the start of the offseason on another podcast, and we were doing offseason predictions. And I just said out of the blue, I said out of the box thinking Bo Bichette is a New York Met. And
yeah.
And then when the Simi and Nimmo trade happened, I thought, no shot, Bo's coming here. I always thought the way he played second base in the World Series, that was going to be the only position he'd be fine with moving to. And I thought getting Simeon for second took us out of that. So I didn't really expect it. So that's why it caught me off guard. But I do like it because we're going in a different direction offensively. Bat on ball, contact. Look at all the stolen bases we had last year throughout the whole entire roster. Lindor and Soto both 30 for 30. But what did we do with those stolen bases? They were basically just stuck on the bags unless somebody hit a home run.
Right.
Now with Bo here, if you have Lindor and Soto and they steal 30 bags and Bo's putting the bat on the ball, you're probably going to be better with runners in scoring position.
Yeah, I agree. And you have some lists for us. So why don't you give us one of your lists that you said you did all this work and you printed it up? Tell us what list you got.
So this is possible free agent additions for the Mets. I broke it down between starting pitchers. I did 5 for each position. 5 for starters, 5 relievers, and 5 position players. So the starting pitchers I put on here are guys that you could get on minor league deals. But these are guys that are very well known. First one, lefty John Means.
Okay.
Is he healthy? Oriole?
Yeah, is he healthy or?
But that's why you could get him on a minor league deal. He's still rehabbing. So that's why he would be down. Number 2, Aaron Savali. Played for the White Sox, the Brewers, whatever. I'm not excited. These are not exciting names. This is not Chris Bassett. This is not Zach Gallen. Like I said, we have 6 starters. You would have to move Senga, Peterson, or Manaea to go and say we're going to sign Zach Gallen.
And Armand, I'll be honest, I'm not moving any of those guys because you never have enough pitching. We always talk about that.
You're right.
I'd rather go into the season with, we got to move one of these guys to the bullpen. But I am not trading these guys if I don't have to, right?
Yeah, so that's why the non-exciting names to add to keeping those 3 specifically helps out. Number 3, former Cardinal Miles Mikolas. I think getting out of St. Louis could help him, and coming to David Stearns and the new pitching lab, not Jeremy Hafner.
Right, and maybe these guys would take a minor league deal.
You're so close to spring training pitchers and catchers.
Yeah. You never know.
Number 4, wild card. I've liked him. He's been with the same team organization throughout his career. Former Rocky Herman Marquez. I feel like he is lightning in a bottle for some team that has a really good pitching lab, pitching coaches that could do something with him. I think Milwaukee, the Dodgers would be great for him, but I would like I said, I think he needs to go to a team that has a pitching lab that could help him, especially getting out of Coors. And number 5, this is a funny one. I just put this one here. Former Yankee Nestor Cortez.
You know what? He's still out there. That? Why not? And he's a good guy to have because he could also go to the bullpen, right, and give you, long relief or something like that. So that's not a bad option.
He'll be a third lefty in the bullpen with Raley and Minter, who's coming off of injury.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. The pitchers are pretty, that makes sense for minor league deals. Listen, you never know. One of those guys could be lightning in a bottle. We know that Stearns loves that stuff, right?
Yeah. And then, like Chris said, you can never have enough pitching.
Never. You never know what, you're going to get injuries throughout the whole season. We've learned that. We know that. Senga makes me nervous because I think a healthy Senga with that ghost pitch would be fine. But, look how he got injured. You talked about it last season, with Alonso. Look how he got injured. And
I was at that game. So you just got and I sit in the outfield. I sit like the 136, 137 section lower left. So I am seeing it in real time. I'm like, you got to be kidding me.
It was crazy. But Chris, you got anything for Armand?
No. All right. So that's the pitcher. But see, I'm not into trading the starters that you got because you guys got the 6. If anything, you can move Holmes into the bullpen, right? Because he's done that before, and he can handle it, obviously. So if it came to that, I think that would be the move. If everybody's healthy, right? If you're healthy in spring training and you got your 6 starters, I think Holmes is the guy that goes to the bullpen. What do you think?
I think they would move Manaea to the bullpen to strengthen the lefties because you got Minter coming off of injury, and Raley is another year older, but I trust Raley. I think Manaea would be more the move from the rotation to the bullpen than Holmes.
Okay.
Yeah, and Armand, what kind of year do you think Manaea is going to have this year? I mean, we know last year was very disappointing with the injury and then everything after signing that contract. Do you see him coming back, or do you just think that was a mistake?
I'm not a proponent of running it back. That's why, I did not a lot of Met fans and a lot of podcasts. They're the only thing they wanted to do after 24, the NLCS, is they want to run back the same team, just add Juan Soto. And I'm like, no, you can't do that. You got to add Soto and add some new blood, And I'm like, so I wanted Manaea. I did not want to bring back Manaea, but we brought him back. I do think he's going to have a bounce back year, especially if we go to 6-man rotation. He's at the back end with Holmes. That's a good 5-6,
Do you think they would go to a 6-man rotation?
To start the year, yes.
Yeah?
That's what I said, to start the year.
Because you never know how injuries are going to happen, especially we don't know what's going to happen with the weather. Holmes and McLean are in the WBC. We gotta
and just for just to add on to the WBC, the Mets I think have the most players going there. I think you guys have 17 total.
Yeah, of course they do.
Yeah, so
of course, but that's all right. You know what?
The Yankees have 11, so don't feel so crazy. But
yeah, they do. All right, to get off the track for a second. What do you think about the WBC, Armand? Are you for it? Do you like it?
I'm for it. I enjoy it. It is playoff baseball at a time when spring training games just get dull and boring because the starters either don't play or they play 1 or 2 innings, and then you got guys that are wearing 000 that are on spring training invites that are playing innings 3, 4, and 5, or unless you're a top pitching, a top prospect that has to get enough of innings in, whether you're a pitcher like a Jonah Tong or a position player that's going to get butts in the seats. Those spring training games, after 3 innings, you're changing the channel because, Juan Soto's no longer in the lineup. Lindor is out. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Chris, you always liked it, right?
Yeah, I've always watched it every year. I mean, the last one, how can you not like it after 2023s, right? The way it ended, right. Team USA versus Japan, Shohei, Mike Trout. I mean, come on. If you don't like that, then you're not a baseball fan. I'm sorry.
You're right.
You're right. That was as good as you're going to get at that time. Now it's, and now look at the rosters, right? The USA team. Dominican Republic, Team Japan. I mean, those are. I would say two out of those 3 teams are going to be in the finals this year. If not, something went wrong. but those are the
Yeah.
three best. I mean, they're really good. They're like all-stars, all-star team.
I'm into the WBC now. Also, like you said, Chris, last year, I mean, the last one really got me into it. Even though at the end it was bad for the Mets. you
Right,
know.
Now think about it. You worried about injuries. Diaz got hurt,
on a freak injury that, like,
right. He was celebrating, right? So
and if you go through the history of baseball, on or off the field, players have had freak injuries. Like I remember one time, close to spring, like when spring training started, MLB Network covered Derek Holland, former left-handed starter for the Texas Rangers. I think he was like holding something, or he didn't realize his dog was behind him, and he fell over his dog and hurt his back, and like he couldn't pitch for like the first 2 months. And I'm like, you're this close to spring training, and
right. Don't do
anything.
Don't do anything before spring training.
In 1988, before the postseason, Bobby Ojeda cut his finger off. Basically, it was hanging, and he couldn't pitch in the playoffs, and that's one of the reasons why the Mets lost to the Dodgers, because they didn't have him pitching. So you're right. Sometimes some of these.
Case in point, look at the Braves. They the shortstop they brought back in Korea fell on ice and cut his hand, and now he's out till May.
Oh, Kim, right?
That's right.
Yeah,
Kim, yeah.
Yep.
It's just like
right.
It happens.
It's like the injuries happen no matter what, on the field, off the field. I remember watching a spring training game between the Braves and the Mets, and a Brave starter just threw a pitch, and his arm was like, you could tell, it was like his elbow's done, like, oh, that's it, he's done for the season. It was like the third inning. I forgot the players. It might have been Mike Soroka. I don't remember who it was. It was a few years ago.
Yeah, well, that happened to Tim Leary also. He was supposed to be the next Seaver, but it didn't work out because he injured his arm in cold weather in his first start. So,
all right, here, Armand, I got a good question for you and for Rob. Give me your lineup right now, opening day lineup for the Mets.
Go ahead, Armand. You go first.
Lindor, Soto. How I would do it, or what I think it's going to be.
Give me what you want. Well, what you would want.
I'm going to go Lindor, Soto, Polanco. I'm going to put Bichette in the 4-hole just to have like a contact hitter in the 4-hole.
Okay.
5-hitter. See, this is where it gets tricky. I might want to give Brett Beatty the shot at the 5-hole.
Okay.
And then I would go Alvarez 6 at catcher, Vientos 7 at DH. I'm gonna go Tyrone Taylor in left field, batting 8th, because I don't know if Benj is gonna be on the opening day roster. Left field is they're giving him the shot. I have no problems with it. Let's see what happens.
It's either Benj. All right, so say it's Benj or Taylor.
Taylor 8. And I'm going to take the high ceiling guy, if he hopefully could stay healthy for 140 plus games. I'm going to bat Luis Robert 9th.
9th, okay.
All right.
He's another guy that could steal bases, and he gets on base for Lindor, Soto.
He's also a big power bat. If he's if he's on.
That's pretty good. I think I would switch Alvarez and Vientos though in that lineup. That's just me
6,
personally. 7. I think I would switch them. But other than that, that's pretty good.
And I think I would go Bichette after Soto. And then Polanco.
To protect Soto. I think that would make sense. But you never know. Maybe there's going to be someone else in that lineup. But really right now, if they go to spring training like this, I'm happy. How about you, Armand? Are you happy?
Oh, absolutely. Outside of maybe another bullpen addition, the pitching, this day and age could stay healthy outside coming from the WBC. How could you not be happy?
Yeah, definitely. All right, let's switch and get your opinion on the Yankees now. So, we can give Chris some Yankee talk. Poor guy. It's always Mets.
That's all right.
They are a good team. So my
Okay.
issue is them not running it back. My issue is how they handled the offseason, making it Bellinger a bust. I look at them and I'm comparing them to their rival, the Red Sox. While they somewhat made it Bregman, or like Bregman was their number one choice, they still did things like the Yankees went and did the margins. Where the Red Sox did is they went for needs. They went out and traded for Sonny Gray to add to that rotation to bring a veteran presence. Not essentially a number 2 pitcher, but just a solid guy that, Bello goes down to 4, Tole and Early go down.
Right.
Gray could be a 3. Then they traded for Wilson Contreras to go to first base, a very good right-handed bat that maybe the Yankees really should have been in on if, from a trade perspective for first base.
Yeah. Well, I think for first, I think they're pretty much sold on Rice, as the first baseman. I think they want to go with him. They did sign Goldschmidt today, right? We found that out. That's more of a bench guy. That's more of a guy that's going to hit against lefties and, come in late for a defensive replacement. But other than that, I think Rice is the first baseman.
I agree, right? And he should be.
Yeah. And I don't know if they were that interested in anybody else, really, any of the big free agents.
I don't think they were. I think Hal basically told you on his Zoom meeting, he really didn't want to go to $300 million, but he kind of knows he kind of has to. And that's why they held out for so long.
Right.
My only criticism with them with Bellinger's contract is the no trade. And I believe, I think Boris and Bellinger, they knew they were never getting 7 years. I think that was their plan is, let's say we want 7 years. Let's put that out there, but we're going to aim for 5. Let's see if the Yankees will give us a no trade clause. Because there's a lot of teams that don't give out no trade clauses because as soon as that player, even in a year or two, example, Rafael Devers and the Boston Red Sox, he did not have a no trade clause. They salary dumped that contract.
Right.
But
he can't opt out, right? He's got the 2 opt-outs in it.
Bellinger got the 2 opt-outs, yes.
So I think that might come into play in 2 years, possibly. I don't
see him opting out.
I don't think so either. Listen, if he has 2 great seasons and he wants to opt out, I would have no problem with him opting out.
I agree. Let him walk. Okay, Bellinger, there you go.
Yeah, I'll let him walk out at 31.
I feel they could have kind of copied the Red Sox and did better. Still make Bellinger your first priority, but you could have done better than the margins around it. You could have kind of copied what the Red Sox did. Maybe go after a bigger high leverage arm.
That's what I would want. A better bullpen arm for sure.
Maybe it was Pete Fairbanks. I know he has that syndrome where cold weather affects his grip on balls, makes his fingers numb.
Right.
But that's for a month and a half, April.
Yeah.
That's true.
No,
Robert Suarez, who went to the Braves, would have been a very good addition for the Yankees.
I totally agree. And I still think that's possible. I think they could still go out there and make a trade, possibly, if Dominguez is going to start in AAA this year, because I don't think he's going to be the 4th outfielder, you know what? Maybe they end up trading him, because they still got Spencer Jones down there in AAA now. So
they'd have to trade one of them. And I think their first choice would be to trade Dominguez.
Right. Right, because Jones at least is a really good defender. He could play center field. You don't have to worry about that. He's going to strike out a lot. We know that. But he's going to probably hit a lot of – he's probably going to be like a Joey Gallo type player, right? A good defender. He's going to hit a lot of home runs, but he's also going to strike out
a lot.
A crap load, right? So I think that's the type of player he's going to be. I'm not expecting him to be, that they compare him to Judge. He's a left-handed Judge. No. He's not going to be Aaron Judge. If he's anything, near Aaron Judge, obviously we'll take it. But
he's what, 25? This has to be his graduation year to the big leagues.
Yeah, and I think so. I think you're either going to see him on the team or he'll get traded. Same thing with Dominguez at some point. I don't think they'll be the 4th outfielder on opening day. But listen, if they both end up in AAA and they don't trade them, then one of those 2 guys, most likely Dominguez, will be the first guy they bring up, if and when, a guy like Stanton gets hurt, because that's going to happen. Right. So I think that's the plan at least, but we still got a couple more days.
Yeah.
And, they did offer Austin Slater, the guy they traded for last year from the Giants, a $1 million contract. So maybe that happens. You never know.
All right, I got a question for you, Armand. What about Anthony Volpe? What do you think happens with him? Because we talk about him a lot. What do you see him once he's better, once he comes back?
I think the shoulder really hurt him last year, the injury, especially defensively, more defensively than offensively. Because, you could see the track record of his offense being what it is. So, he has to really get better offensively, or else I see why Yankee fans don't want him on the team. I thought the rumors of them trading Jazz was to get Volpe ready for second base, especially when they believe Lombard's ready to come up and play shortstop. I think the Yankees' plan was trade Jazz, let Volpe rehab and everything, and let him be in the minors, let him get some games starting at second base. We got Caballero, who else? Oswaldo Cabrera that could handle shortstop for a while. You also got Rosario, a utility guy, second, short, third. So you got 3 guys right there that could handle shortstop while getting Volpe ready for second base until Lombard's ready to call up.
Yeah, I would.
That was my initial thought with the rumors of Jazz being traded.
Yeah, I think Lombard will be up for sure in 2027. I don't know about this year, but I think 2027 he'll probably be the opening day shortstop. Jazz, I don't think they're going to sign him because he's a free agent after this year.
I don't think they are either.
Yeah, I don't know if they're going to trade him either because I think it would have happened already. I think they're going to go in with him this year.
Yes.
And just ride him. And hey, listen, he's playing for a contract, so you hope that, if he puts up numbers like he did last year, we'll take it. 30-30. I'll take that any day, right? So if that happens, then at the end of the year, maybe they try to sign him. Maybe. I don't know. But probably not. It doesn't seem like, because I think they would be talking to him now if they wanted to extend him. Yeah. So I don't think they're going to sign him to a contract. Whether that's right or wrong, we'll see. But I don't know if they're going to trade him. It would have to would have to happen for them to trade him right now. At least,
you're probably team lose their everyday second baseman and willing to do some sort of, maybe it's like a reliever for Jazz.
Yeah, you probably want a little bit for him. Yeah, I don't know. It's a weird situation because you would think the guy's still young. I think he's 27, 28 years old. You would think they would want to extend him. But
I think it's his personality and maybe some of the stuff off the field that
a little too flashy, I think, for
I agree.
Right.
All right. So then let's get your prediction on the American League East. First of all, give us your prediction. We know all that happened this offseason. Baltimore got better. Toronto, I think losing Bo, I think, that does matter, even though, like Chris said, they're making it doesn't matter. I think that's a pretty big loss. But with everything that happened this offseason, what's your prediction for the American League East?
Until the champs get knocked out, I got Toronto number 1 for the division. And I think the bigger loss, even though he wasn't on the team, was them losing out on Kyle Tucker.
Okay.
I think Kyle Tucker was their number 1 target this year. They were okay with losing Bo for Tucker. They did have a 10-year, $350 million deal on the table for Tucker. I think if they went up to 380, because I know Tucker was supposedly looking for 10 years, 400. I do think if they went to 380, he takes it. But I think also I know there's a lot of Blue Jays fans and Blue Jays shows are, the Mets got used more than the Blue Jays did. No, listen, the Mets and the Blue Jays got used by Tucker and his camp.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And in the end, it's free agency for these players. Every team, the players got to make a decision to sign with teams. So every team is getting used in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
All right, so you got Toronto.
Just waited and,
Yeah. So you got Toronto. Then what do you have? Do you have the Yankees? Do you have the Orioles?
I got Boston number 2. I like their
Okay.
pitching. They got a lot of deep pitching between Suarez, Gray, Bello, Tola, Early, a lot of young guys. That lineup is really good. As much as they can use another right-handed bat, they lowballed Alonso. Good old John Henry. Don't get me started on owners. I'll rip them all. But,
the Red Sox fans don't like him so much.
Yeah.
Oh no, I can tell you this I've heard him, Al, and Tom Ricketts, the 3 of those owners, Red Sox, Yankees, Cubs, they have aligned themselves with the small market owners for a cap. I can tell you, the Phillies, the Mets, and the Dodgers, they're going to spend no matter what, cap or not. They don't care. Like they're still going to spend. So, but those 3 are aligned with the small market teams for his cap. That's why I don't believe there's going to be a baseball season in 27.
Yeah,
but I got Boston. I do think they should have traded one of their outfielders except Roman Anthony. Like they should have traded either Duran or Abreu. I think they love Rafaela in center field. So I think they should have, and they could have targeted a young starter or target a right-handed bat.
Right, because I think they need a second baseman. Right, because they're moving Meyer over to third.
They're moving Meyer to third. They still got Christian Campbell, but he showed last year after the extension he still needs some developing down in the minors. But the past few days, they've been bringing in veteran right-handed hitters on minor league deals, like former Rocky Brendan Rodgers. Like he's on a minor league deal. They also got Romy Gonzalez that could play second base, just a bench guy. I think they're going to see what they have in turn, and then maybe if there's a second baseman right-handed available at the deadline, they would probably go after it.
Yeah, I think I don't know. I think I'd put it Blue Jays Yankees. I think Chris will put it Yankees Blue Jays, right, Chris?
Yeah, I said the Blue Jays are definitely the team to beat. I agree with Armand. Until you beat the champs, they're still the champs. Even though we tied them last year, but they beat us bad all season, and then of course in the playoff series, right?
Right.
But I mean, I look at it this way: if the Yankees won one more game last season, I told you, right? If they won one more game, they would have had the best record in baseball, even if they didn't beat Toronto. One more game. If they beat any other team one more game, they would have had the best record in baseball in the American League. And they would have had the bye in the first week instead of Toronto. So maybe
changes everything.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. It would have definitely made it more interesting. So, and again, that's why I think Cashman and the front office is saying, listen, if we run it back, we got a pretty good team, right? It's not a bad team.
And the pitching is so much deeper this year with the rise of Schlittler.
Right. And we don't have, listen, I know he's with you guys now, Weaver and Williams, but when he was with us, when they were with us last year, they were pretty bad, right? And they blew a lot of games because of those guys. So if one of those games wasn't blown, it's and I think that's their mentality. That's what they're thinking. Oh, we got Bednar now for the whole season, not just half the season. We got Ryan McMahon at third for a whole season instead of who we had last year. So I think that's what they're thinking.
Yeah, I mean Bednar. I told you, for you guys, I like Bednar as a closer. He's that was a good move. They made a good move at that trade deadline. All right, Armand. Now the National League East. Give me your predictions for the NL East.
I have the Mets winning it. 88 games.
Shocker.
I think between 88 and 90 wins. I don't trust the Braves. They're running it back, and all their starting pitchers are coming off of injury. They had so many injuries. Like, they're the wild card to me. The Phillies are running it back. They didn't really do any. They just brought back Schwarber. They haven't cut Castellanos yet.
Right.
When are you doing that when that's been reported since November? You're cutting him or trading him. Clearly nobody wants him.
That is true.
You don't have Wheeler till sometime in May, and he's coming off a theatric outlet syndrome. This is not, this is what Matt Harvey had that ended his career. So we don't know how Wheeler is going to be. Nola's another year older in that long-term atrocious contract.
Yeah.
You lost Ranger Suarez to Boston. So you're banking on Andrew Painter, one of your top young pitchers, to really fill a rollout. You hope Christopher Sanchez keeps, getting up there. I think he is has the highest ceiling on that rotation that can become an ace for them to take over for Wheeler in the future. Luzardo's in the final year of his control, but he is what he is. He's a middle of the rotation guy.
And he might be a little more than
that bullpen. I like Duran, but the rest of the bullpen is
definitely suspect. I agree.
Yeah.
Oh, they are bringing up Painter, right, to be the starter,
right?
Yeah.
To be in the rotation. So I think that he's kind of a wild card because listen, if he comes up and pitches great, that's kind of changes everything. Then you're thinking, okay, if Wheeler is not that great when he comes back, at least they got Painter. But I agree with the bullpen, and they really didn't do nothing else. Like what did the Phillies do this offseason?
They brought back Schwarber.
Right.
And Realmuto, too.
Realmuto.
Which was crazy. 3 years?
Yeah.
That's
crazy. He was old in 2024. So,
actually, before the Mets signed Polanco, I looked up Realmuto, and he has a lot of games at first base. I thought, maybe you put Realmuto at first base with the Mets because he's a good defender and behind the plate. You would think his defense can transition to first base. And he could also be your emergency catcher if Torrens or Alvarez got hurt at some point.
Yeah, right. That's true. But the Phillies, they got burned by the Mets. Really did burn the Phillies. They thought they had Bichette signed, and to me, that was one of the greatest things of this offseason.
The best thing is the crash out from all the Phillies faithful
yes.
the day after. Whether it's WIP, any radio station, any fan pages. Are you kidding with Boba? Yeah, and I've watched a lot of Phillies things. Like that as an organization, they don't like the short-term high AAV deals. They don't like the opt-outs. It's like I'm like, you have to grow with the times. You have to adapt with the league. These owners you don't want to give out long-term deals.
Right.
But you don't want to do short-term high AAV deals. You have to. You have to pick a poison. You either have to pick out doing the long-term deal, stretching out the luxury tax and the AAV to be lower, or say, hey, you know what? 3-5 years, because to me those are short-term deals. 3-5 years with opt-outs, but high salary AAV, we could take it. So, like you have to pick a lane.
Right.
Right.
Well, the Phillies do have a high payroll. Their payroll's about $300 million. Yeah. And they did try to sign Bichette. It just
and they gave him 7 years, $200 million.
Yeah.
But I think they wasted money on that contract with Realmuto, though. I really do.
I think they got a little desperate after Bichette signed with you guys. They were like, okay, now what? Instead of I don't know. I don't know if
they don't want to spend it on Framber or Gallen. Like they didn't want to bring in one of the big names, starters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And also their farm system, they don't have a catcher that's ready to take over for Realmuto.
Right.
I mean, they traded one of their better young catchers at the time he was not ready. They traded him to the Angels, Logan O'Hoppe, for Brandon Marsh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
And Marsh is I think
if they could see at that time hindsight, they would have kept O'Hoppe, and he probably would have backed up Realmuto to learn from him and would have transitioned this year. They also got Justin Crawford, who's going to be their everyday center fielder this year.
And that's risky too, because the rest of their outfield is not good.
It's not.
Right?
That's all right. That's all right with me.
It's Marsh in left. They got Crawford in center. They still got Rojas, who's a defender. So maybe they still got Castellanos on the roster, but most likely they'll cut Castellanos. Rojas moves to right field, I think, for the defense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, but
that's
still,
And
Chris.
remember, their other guy got suspended, right?
Yes, that's
Well,
right.
he's a free agent, Max Kepler. He got suspended.
Oh, it was only a 1-year deal. Okay.
Yeah, it was a 1-year deal. Yeah, well, we'll see what happens with those Phillies. I'm not going to cry over
The
them.
Braves are going to be the team I think you got to worry about, because if they're healthy and they're playing up to their, but every year it seems like there's guys getting hurt, right? Acuna's always hurt.
Always.
But if those guys are healthy,
hurt, swelling back, Sale.
Yeah.
But I think you could flip this division. It is so tough to choose any three of these teams. The Mets coming off of their debacle of a disastrous season. The only good thing you can say is
right?
The Marlins are just going to be a pain in the ass. That's a pain in the butt.
I
that's what
agree.
they are.
They're gonna hang in that wild card race the whole year. The Marlins this year.
Yeah, and listen, they always give the Mets trouble anyway. So Armand's right. They're going to be a pain in the butt. Definitely going to be a pain in the butt. But I have to go with Armand right now. I think I give the division to the Mets.
I think 87 to 90 wins you that division.
Chris is laughing. Well, who else?
No, I don't know, because you know why? Because all these other teams, including the Mets, right? Every one of them are, to me, a question mark, right? Yeah. It could go really well,
or it could go bad,
not so well, right? It's one of those. And I think every team, like I just said, the Braves. If the Braves are healthy, right? Think about it. If that lineup is healthy, with a healthy Acuna and Matt Olson and the
Austin
third
Riley.
Austin Riley. I mean, if these guys are healthy, that's a really good lineup. But big question mark. They haven't been, Right. And then the Marlins are a super wild card team because they're that young, hungry team that you don't know what direction they're going to go in, right?
And to me, they have between the major league roster and the minor league roster, they are really deep with pitching. That's why they could trade Edward Cabrera and Ryan Weathers. Yep. Now in the offseason, the question mark is how far do they have to be out of the playoffs to trade Sandy at the deadline? And the question mark is he has a club option for 2027. So even if he is pitching well, with the possible lockout, is a team really going to trade significant pieces for a half a year of Sandy Alcantara?
Right. You got to think about that. Exactly. They might say, hey, we might make a run and try to get to the playoffs this year, and we'll keep them, right? Because like you said, it's only going to be for a couple of months. They're not in a position to do, to make a trade for a rental, basically. I don't think they would be willing to do that. So this is going to be an interesting year. The only team that you don't have to worry about is Washington. Washington looks like a 100-loss season coming up.
They're rebuilding again.
Yes, again.
They realize that they're not going to give Mackenzie Gore an extension. That's why they shipped him out to Texas. I guess the same for CJ Abrams. He has 3 years left to control, but obviously even if you lose the whole 2027 season, the control or the contract of a player does not freeze. That's why Joe Ryan and Pablo Lopez haven't gotten traded. Not because the Twins want to really build around them, is teams were accounting for the lockout. If we're trading 2 years of control for Joe Ryan, a package that's worthy of 2 years of control, but you're only getting 1 year of starts, it doesn't make sense. So teams were looking at Joe Ryan as if you were trading for if you were to possibly trade for the 1 year of Scooble for a 1 year rental.
Right.
And that's why Twins probably didn't get offers that they liked. And they said, oh, we'll just put it out there to the public like, oh, yeah, we want to build around these guys. No, you don't. Yeah. If there was no lockout and you got the best offer, Joe Ryan would be on another team. Pablo Lopez would be on another team. I think Buxton is the one that gets traded from the Twins at the deadline.
But you remember, he does control it because he's got no trade.
But I think I think if they're out of it and they know the lockout, I think they should just go and talk to him and say, hey, we think we're getting, the Mets did call the Twins up about Buxton last year at the deadline.
Right, they did.
So I think
he said he doesn't want to get traded.
The All-Star bird. But I do think
it might trade. It might change this season. You're right.
Another bad season.
We were laughing about that. Remember, like they traded everybody, and he didn't want to go anywhere.
40% of their major league roster, 11 players in total.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. All right,
I guess he likes it up there. I don't know.
He might. I can't believe how fast time's going. I got a couple of quick things before Chris gets to that other question that I wanted to bring up with you. Okay, Carlos Beltran's going in the Hall of Fame with the Mets cap on, which I'm happy about. Yeah. You hear other Met fans out there bitching because of, that one strikeout.
Like
it's
the three
stupid.
Curveballs, Adam Ring.
Yeah. I was there. I was there. All right, that was a long drive home.
I was home. As soon as that happened, I shut the TV off and I went to sleep crying.
I had to drive home.
So I walked to college the next morning like a girl dumped me. Like I found out my girlfriend was cheating on me with like my best friend, and and I'm just like, I was just like I was crushed. But
it was.
You got to get over it. He had his best years with us. He's one of the greatest Mets of all time. Like,
I'm happy that he's the third Met going in the Hall of Fame wearing a Mets cap. So are you happy about that too?
Oh, I'm very happy, and I expected it to be the Mets.
Me too.
The only other team that would have made somewhat sense would have been the Royals, just because he came up with them, won Rookie of the Year. But
it had to be the Mets. Chris, what's your opinion as an outsider with that?
With what? I'm sorry.
With Beltran wearing a Mets cap in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I mean it was either them or Kansas City, right? And I think he's got about the same amount of years between the two of them. But obviously with the Mets, he was just great with the Mets. And he did a lot more with the Mets. So I thought that made sense.
All right, cool. All right, Chris, go with that question, because we got to go a couple of promos we got to get out. So
all right, so Armand, you know it as good as anybody else, right? When we get to this time of the show, we always ask our guests, if you were named MLB commissioner, what changes would you make to the game?
Oh, here's my list of changes. And
you got a list of changes. So we might have to have a whole other show for this.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna I'll give you two of them. Extra innings.
Okay.
No ghost runner.
Okay.
So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna copy the NFL with overtime. You know how teams now get, even if a team scores, both teams get a possession.
Right.
The 10th inning, both teams get their at bats. But the 11th inning on, walk off for either team. Listen, we've watched basketball, we watch hockey. You've seen your teams win a game on the road in overtime just scoring one goal. Like, I'm not going to be like, I've seen the Mets lose at Citi Field in extra innings to the Phillies. You have one inning where you get your extra inning at bats, the 10th inning. 11th inning on, I don't need to go 18 innings. Bryce Harper walks us off at Citi Field, whoop-de-doo, in June. Who cares? Like, he got the next day.
Right. Well,
okay, that's interesting.
To go against that, the home team always gets up regardless, right? So if the Phillies are on the road, like if they're at Citi, if they score 2 runs, the Mets still get up in the bottom half of the inning, right? No matter what.
No. From the 11th inning on.
He's saying walk off, Chris. If the Phillies score, that's it. If they're the away team, the Mets don't.
I mean, the home team wouldn't get a chance
from the 11th inning on. 10th inning,
that's what he's saying.
Wow. Okay. All right.
That's interesting. I never heard that one.
That gets rid of the ghost runner.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I got you.
Okay.
Interesting. Okay.
The second one I'll give you, because this is for on the field, the manager's challenges and replay system.
Okay.
Managers get 2 challenges from innings, from the 1st inning to the 6th inning. They have 2 challenges to use. 7th inning to 9th inning, it's the umpires on the field, or let's just like how hockey has basically MLB will have, like at MLB Network, they'll have their review team that's watching every game. Seventh
Football
inning,
does that too, right? Okay.
basically, I call it the 2-minute warning. The seventh to the ninth inning, 2-minute warning. Booth review or the umpires on the field.
That's it.
Eh,
No manager
Okay.
reviews.
No manager
No.
reviews. Extra
Okay.
innings. From extra innings, both managers get one challenge. If they were to win that challenge, they keep it for the next inning, not for the next. Like if you have two things happen back to back, you can't challenge it. But if you won, you would have like if Mendoza challenged
for the
something in the
next inning.
10th inning, he wins it. He would have it for the 11th.
Gotcha.
Okay.
But if
Okay.
you lose it, you have no more
No more.
in the extra innings.
Okay.
Okay. Well, those
Interesting. I like that.
definitely interesting.
Yeah, I like Armand. I like those because you're thinking like outside the box. You're not thinking the
Yeah.
usual. All right, get rid of the ghost runner. That's it, or whatever it is.
You-
You're thinking outside the box. I like it.
Because my thinking is like, especially with the qualifying offer, we can agree the qualifying offer needs to go, but they're
Yeah.
never because they love prospects. Like I came up with a system for the new qualifying offer.
Well, we
Okay.
gotta listen.
Yes.
We're definitely gonna have you back on the show during spring training because we just didn't have enough time. But that's it. Chris, why don't you put up the first promo? We have the promo.
All right. So we got
Okay,
a
this
little
is-
bit of a sponsor here, right?
Yeah. This is Premier Auto and Tire Center. It's in Staten Island, 2109 Forest Avenue. Okay, they do everything there, tires, they fix cars, whatever you need. They're good. And they're giving, if you mention NYMLB Talk, they're going to give you 10% off your next service or repair. So if you're in the Staten Island area and you need some work done on your car, especially if you need new tires, they have great deals on tires. You definitely want to check them out. 2109 Forest Avenue. Jonathan's the assistant manager there. Check them out, and you will get 10% off your next service or repair. That's pretty good, Chris.
Yeah, very good.
Right. So
love it.
definitely check them out. They're friends of the show. They listen to the show and they love the show. So definitely check them out. And what's the other? You got the other one, Chris?
Yeah. What do you want? Do you want the band?
Yeah, the band. Yes.
Okay. This
All
is
right. We put.
Go ahead.
Okay, this is a new CD coming out by Ronnie Hill. It's called Big Change Coming. Our friend Neil Berliner, who's been on the show, he's a comedian, / doctor.
Uh-oh. Did Rob freeze on me?
I guess so.
They just had this new CD. What, Chris? I didn't hear you.
You froze.
You could check that. You could check that out. Okay. Yeah, it froze for a second. Yeah, so you could check that out. Big Change Coming CD just came out. I think yesterday or today. So it's Chris. You've heard this and you like it, right?
Very bluesy. I love it. It's like Stevie Ray Vaughan.
Yeah,
that type of bluesy rock. So definitely check him out. I like him a lot.
Yeah. You definitely you won't be disappointed, and Neil will be back on sometime during spring training to talk about this too. And the last thing is we have a lineup coming up of a lot of former players that I'm going to announce. But this Monday at 3 p.m. we have New York Post Major League Baseball writer Ken Davidoff. He's going to join us for a while to talk about the offseason moves, Mets, Yankees, and also his new book that's coming out. He's gonna talk about that on Monday. Next Friday, it's me and Chris, and I think I have a guest, but I'll announce that during the week. And like I said, Chris, since we had last week when we talked about the Mets camps, right? The fantasy camps. We have some players that want to come on the show, so we're going to announce that lineup. It's pretty good. The show's starting to take off, and we have more players that want to come on. So Brian last week when he was on the show, he reached out to some players and they're interested. So I'm gonna let you guys know the lineup as soon as it's set. other than that, Armand, thanks for coming on.
Well, thank you for having me.
Yeah, you're
You know, we
awesome.
had
That was great.
And in fact, we're going to have you back on, but also I'm going to say one thing now. When Chris goes on vacation, because when I go away, he has a co-host. Armand, I want you to be my co-host when Chris goes away. Okay.
So this will be the next takeover.
Yeah.
Listen, yeah. No putting down the Yankees either. Don't let it be a Yankee hater. You know what I'm saying?
I'll do what you.
Scouts honor. Scouts honor.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah.
But yeah, so when Chris goes on vacation,
Armand. That's the Armand I want to see.
Yeah. All right, Armand. Thanks, everybody. Chris, I will see you Monday at 3 p.m. Have a good weekend.